Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael. Welcome to Gas and Gavel video channel. Today, we are going to take a look at this 2016 Maserati Ghibli S Q4. This Ghibli is finished in a Bianco white with a red leather interior. The Ghibli S Q4 is powered by a 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 motor, producing 404 horsepower and 406 pounds of torque. All that power is routed to all four wheels via an 8-speed ZF auto-manual transmission. Since this car is a Q4 model, all that power is routed to all four wheels via Maserati's all-wheel drive system. The Ghibli is composed of four main trim levels: a base 345 horsepower Ghibli, a Ghibli S and SQ4, which is what you see here with its 400 horsepower twin turbo V6. And at the top of the line of the Ghibli trim levels is the Maserati Ghibli Trofeo with its twin turbo V8 Ferrari derived 580 horsepower motor, making that the top of the line trim of the Ghibli model. Today we'll be essentially reviewing the second to the top of the line trim in this Ghibli S Q4. The Ghibli was introduced in 2013 and ran its production all the way to 2024. Maserati has decided to end the production of the Ghibli in 2024. What comes next, unsure, but again, if you're looking for your own Ghibli, you'll probably have to look in the used car marketplace for the Ghibli, which is great because with Maserati and its depreciation, the used car market is probably the best place to purchase or to look for your next Ghibli. The MSRP brand new in 2016 for the Maserati Ghibli S Q4 started at an MSRP of $87,000 before options. Let's take a look at the engine bay of your 2016 Maserati Ghibli S. And here it is. And here is the 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 engine producing 404 horsepower and 406 foot-pounds of torque. All that power is routed to an 8-speed automatic ZF transmission, and power is sent to the ground via all four wheels via Maserati's Q4 all-wheel drive system. This motor has a 0-60 time of 4.7 seconds. This motor has a 0 to 60 time of 4.7 seconds and a estimated top speed of 178 miles per hour. The car gets 16 city and 24 highway. So I'm going to start this next part of this engine tour with just a very high disclaimer. I want to use that this Ghiblis is motor and car itself is Ferrari associated / Ferrari derived. Am I saying that it is a Ferrari? It is not, but I can tell you right now that how this motor is assembled, you can see why and how this car is Ferrari associated / again derived. So the engine block that you see here with the Maserati stamp on it is actually casted in Ferrari specs right here in the United States at Chrysler's factory in Iowa. And then that engine block is sent all the way to Modena, Italy, where Ferrari takes that block and assembles everything else to it. So again, this car has some Chrysler influence, but again, it is assembled using parts outside of the block with Ferrari parts inside a Ferrari factory in Modena, Italy. So again, I'm using that high disclaimer, but at the end of the day, yes, this motor is one of the last years that Ferrari has agreed to allow Maserati to use their engine parts and engine production. So again, this car does have a Ferrari associated / derived motor of some sort. Alright, looks wise, I think the engine looks great. The V6 motor, you can tell that it is actually placed almost front mid-engine. The engine block is tucked all the way deep inside there. Again, giving this car a 49-51 weight distribution. So most of the weight is pushed to the center as much as possible. The Maserati etched block has this nice V6 valve cover with the Maserati Trident logo in front and the V6 logo in the front also. And I love how the twin turbo route to this, again, this really cool looking front mounted engine box that obviously has like a ram air channel sucking in air from that functional front grille all the way into these, again, these two intake boxes that feed that twin turbos on this V6 motor. So again, it looks really great. It looks very exotic for a V6 motor. And again, it does have the exotic car placement of a front mid-engine design. Again, giving this car an almost 50-50 weight distribution at 49-51. Not bad for a four-door car that's actually pretty heavy. So again, a great looking engine bay with over 400 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque. It looks great and it is functional. I think great job, Maserati. Let's begin the exterior tour of this 2016 Maserati Ghibli S Q4, starting with the bi-xenon LED headlights with LED daytime running lights, which you see here. I love the aggressive design of the angular Maserati headlights. Within the headlights, you have this Maserati stamped silver trimmed headlight. And in the front, you have what looks like a sneak peek of what's going to be on the fender grills, which is the quintessential Maserati 3-hole fender trim outlets. The design is kind of copied onto the headlight here. You have that daytime LED running strip running up the top of the headlights. And again, you have that bi-xenon projector headlights, meaning that your low beams and high beams are both xenon HID headlights. You have this really nice amber LED side light with amber trim. And I think that's silver, dark silver with a black housing headlights looks really great against this white paint. Again, just very aggressive angular headlights. And I do want to make a note that I would feel that the exterior design of this Maserati is one of the best looking 4-door sedans in this category of any of its competitors. And you'll see why with the rest of this exterior tour. Down front, you have the classic blue and silver Maserati Trident emblem. And underneath that is, again, that oval-shaped, functional, fully functional Maserati grille, very quintessential Maserati design feature with the huge Trident logo in silver. You do have integrated parking sensors. And again, this grille is functional. If you look inside, these openings is a huge opening, allowing for those 2 intercoolers, again, to cool down that V6 twin turbocharger. Very, very nice. And I like how the grille is big, but not too big. It's big enough where, again, it fits the profile of the front end of the car very, very well. I love the functional honeycomb grille insert in the front that's painted a contrasting flat black, and you definitely see some sort of radiator / intercooler behind there, so these front grills are functional. And I love how there is, again, this protruding front lip, giving the front bumper and a very aggressive but clean look. Again, one of the cleanest looking designs of any front bumper, but one of the cleanest designs of Maserati specifically. I really love the this front lip here. Again, great contrast and just really a clean, aggressive, sporty front bumper design. In classic Maserati style, of course, you have your silver trimmed Maserati tri-outlets found in most Maserati models, usually in the front fenders. This car being no different. They are somewhat functional. You can see inside of them, and I assume that there's some sort of a functional air outlet or to help remove hot air from the car. But they also add a nice visual style to the front fenders. The hood has these slight 2 large louvers in the hood with a slight bulge down the center, again giving the hood a very clean but also muscular design aspect, hiding that V6 twin turbo underneath that hood. So again, just a very clean overall design of the front end, muscular and sleek and angular and aggressive. That's how I would define the design of the Ghibli, especially the front end of it. Let's take a look at the wheel and tire package of your Ghibli S Q4. And here they are. These multi-spoke, silver trimmed wheels measure a nice and aggressive 245/40 ZR 20-inch alloy wheels. In the center, you do have the nice Maserati Trident logo, very, very clean. And behind these silver trimmed wheels, you have these huge 6-piston Brembo sourced but Maserati branded calipers. The front are huge 6 pistons with the Maserati logo etched in red against a white background, white against a red background. And behind that, you do have aggressive cross-stroke rotors attached to those 6-piston calipers. And I think that the red painted calipers are a classic color combined with a white exterior. It looks really great. To the back, we have a similar design feature. In the rear, you have a little slightly wider 285, 35, 20-inch tires wrapped around these 20-inch alloy wheels. Behind, you have a little smaller but still great looking 4-piston Maserati calipers, more than likely Brembo sourced, with again the white Maserati logo etched into them. And this is painted red with a cross-drilled rotor. It looks really great. I do want to note, behind these wheels and behind these brake calipers, there is an option for a more aggressive Maserati Skyhook suspension. This car is not equipped with it, but again, there is an option for a more aggressive suspension package in this car. But again, overall, 20-inch Maserati wheels look really great with the red brake calipers. Filling out those wheel wells very, very cleanly. On the sides, you do have body colored with an integrated turn signal side marker. And these are powered and heated side mirrors. Following along door panels, you do have these, I like how it's a flat black finished side skirt, providing texture and contrast to the side profile. The door panels are composed of these chrome heavy duty door panels with this matching silver trim. And I think this color combination looks really great with a white exterior, the silver trim, and soon you'll see later the $2,600 red leather option. Right up top, you have the factory sunroof with sunshade right up top. And you have a body colored shark fin antenna. And we'll take a better look at that sunroof during the interior tour. On your driver's side is where you'll find your gas cap to fill your 91 octane or 92 and above. And in quintessential Maserati design language, you have your Maserati Trident logo in the upper pillars of the rear fenders of both the driver and passenger side of your Ghibli. Out back, you have again these angular, aggressive red and clear taillights. They are LED, and they're broken up into the center trunk piece and the exterior fender piece. And I think it fits very well the design profile of this vehicle. Just angular and aggressive. They look great. I love how on the trunk there's this kind of molded in, looks kind of like a duckbill spoiler, but it isn't. But again, it provides that trunk with a little bump and kind of gives it a, again, kind of just like a long-tailed look to the trunk. I think it looks really great. I think Maserati could have included a little lip spoiler on top to finish it off, but without it, it still looks great with, again, this kind of indentation in the trunk. Right below that, you have your Maserati logo in chrome with the chrome trim underneath that. You have your Ghibli emblem underneath, and of course designating Q4 with the 4 in red that this car is equipped with Maserati's all-wheel drive system. Circling on back, you do have this flat black painted rear diffuser finishing off that rear bumper, and this car is equipped with a variable sport Maserati exhaust. It looks great and it sounds great. The tips are quad tip slash or slant cut design, and they're housed in, again, this black diffuser. Definitely clean, definitely very aggressive. And we'll give a good listen to that later on during the engine review. But again, from here it looks great, and I can guarantee you later when you hear the clip, it sounds great also. Again, just great design profile. One of the best looking four-doors of this year and this generation, even amongst its competitors. All right, let's take a look at your trunk of your Ghibli S Q4. So to open your trunk, you can use your remote and go ahead and open that power trunk. And here is the trunk of your Ghibli. It measures 7.4 cubic feet of space. Very deep, very wide. You have a nice functional 12-volt outlet in the back in case you need to charge things. A nice little cargo net to store wherever you may need to store back here, your little knickknacks. And underneath here, you do have a nice full-size spare, something you don't really find too often. Very nice. And if you need additional storage space, these back seats via some sort of latch, these back seats do fold down. So let me see if I can get that done for you guys right now. Yep, they do fold down. And there you go. So again, they do fold down flat. I'm not going to put the front seats all the way forward, but again, to note, the front seats do fold down all the way, giving you a lot of additional storage space in this trunk. But without it, you have about 17.4 cubic feet of space. So again, deep trunk that also adds some versatility. You do need to fold down the rear seats, giving you access to the trunk. So again, here's the trunk of your Ghibli S. Let's take a look at the key that you get when you do purchase your Maserati Ghibli Q4, and here it is. And actually it looks pretty good. Again, it looks very on par with what a car of this caliber, an $80,000 mid-level four-door sports sedan from a luxury slash exotic car manufacturer should look like. So I think they did a great job with the key. It feels very heavy, it feels very lofty. You have this nice silver trim on the side, and then on the back you have this nice etched in Maserati logo contrasted with this black plastic. Definitely looks very aggressive, very cool. Almost like copying the shape of the Ghibli almost. Very nice. It's also functional. You have your locks, you have your unlocks, you have your locks, you have your power trunk. Oh, there it goes. And again, you do have remote start. I believe you can remote start a car somehow here using this remote. And again, just everything's just very functional. I believe that you can remove this portion here for the actual key itself, but again, functional in all ways. And you do have an emergency panic button, as you can see. So again, everything that you may need is found in this key, and again, it looks great, on par with a vehicle of this caliber. So again, this is the key that you get when you do purchase your Ghibli S Q4. Very, very nice. Let's begin the interior tour of this Ghibli S with its beautiful red leather interior and the driver's side door panel. So this car is finished with this beautiful $2,600 red leather interior, and I truly believe that red is the best interior that you can get for a Maserati. So again, that is a $2,600 factory option. So you get a little bit of that black contrast leather up top, and you have that beautiful red leather with black cross stitch down the door handle. You get these very simple switches, definitely a Chrysler product, but again, they get the job done. Up top, you have a nice silver heavy-duty door handle with memory seatings. Underneath the armrest, you do have a small storage space for a little knickknack, wallet, maybe a phone. You have your trunk opener underneath that, and this car does come with an 8-speaker Harman Kardon surround sound stereo system. So again, just a really cleanly designed interior. Nice piano black trim, black leather, red leather, and that's just giving you a peek of things to come for the rest of the interior. On the door sill, you do have a Maserati silver door sill and these red Maserati logo with silver accelerator and brake pedal. Very, very nice. And the crown jewel of this car is definitely, again, these red optional leather interior. Very, very nice. Completely painted red. Even the controls are painted red. These are 8-way power adjustable, and they have a nice black cross stitch all throughout the interior. And at the headrest, you do have the Maserati emblem embedded into the headrest of all 4 headrests of your interior. Very, very nice. Again, they are heated, they are 8-way powered, and again, they are wrapped in this beautiful, again, optional red leather. Best Maserati interior that you can get. This has the extended leather package, so you also get that red leather up top on the upper dash. And let's see what the cockpit is like. And here we are in the cockpit of your 2016 Maserati Ghibli S Q4. Right up front, you have that Maserati tri-spoke leather wrapped steering wheel. Nice design. It has this nice silver trim. In the center, you do have that Maserati Trident logo with your horn in the center. You do have voice controls on the right side, and you do have cruise control on your left. This car is equipped with an 8-speed ZF auto manual transmission that you can shift using either the shift knob or, again, these steering wheel mounted behind the steering wheel shift paddles. They're big, and they again, they're sturdy. Again, great design on the Maserati Ghibli steering wheel. Behind that, you do have an analog digital instrument cluster with a small digital screen in the center. To the left of the steering wheel, you have your windshield wiper stock. And this entire steering wheel does telescope forward and down using a electronic switch underneath the steering wheel. To the left, you have your headlight controls and your start and stop button for your motor, because this car does have keyless entry. Up top on your dash, very quintessential Maserati design, is this nice little clock that has its own hat. Nice little leather trimmed hat on top, again, of your analog clock with the Maserati logo in the center. That is a very quintessential Maserati design language feature of Maserati interiors for sure. And here you have your 8.5-inch touchscreen multimedia unit. Underneath that, you have the Ghibli logo. And to the left and the right, that's in around the silver trim, is again your functional AC outlets and inlets up top. Your passenger has a lockable storage compartment. Very nice. Underneath the multimedia screen, you do have your analog controls for your radio and your emergency lights. Down center on this piano black trim, you have your 8-speed leather wrapped ZF automatic transmission lever. And you have a few buttons on the side here, turning on and off cruise control, manual mode, and my most favorite button here is where it says sport, and that is where you can turn on your sport driving mode, which is essentially race mode for this car. You have an electronic parking brake. Here you have your cup holders with a cigarette charging outlet. You just kind of throw the key there, close it up. Down here you have a small little charging area with a auxiliary input and a USB outlet to charge with a cover. Open this up, you have a nice little black leather wrapped armrest. You open that up and you do have a little charging area port here with 2 additional cup holders and again a 12-volt outlet. Very, very nice. You have a basic rear view mirror. You have this black trimmed, it feels like Alcantara windshield visors for the driver and passenger. The roof has this Alcantara-like finish on top. It feels really good. I like the feel of it. Feels rich, matches in exterior. Up here top, you have your indoor dome lights. And behind this mechanical screen here, you can pull this back and you have your powered sunroof. That is standard in the Ghibli. The sunroof does open all the way as such. Looks great, and there's a deployable windscreen in front to cut down that wind noise. So again, I think that's a great feature to have. Really brightens up the interior and allows that fresh air into the interior. Again, your passenger is treated to, again, that red supple leather, nice supports, 8-way power adjustable, heated, and with again the red Maserati logo embezzled into the headrest. Here's your 8-inch touchscreen that is turned on. Again, this was made in 2016. It looks like it's pulled straight from the Chrysler parts bin. It gets the job done, but again, it's not the greatest, but again, it's manageable. Let's take a look at what life is like for your rear seat passengers of your Ghibli. And again, your Ghibli's rear seat passengers are again treated to that nice red leather, nice simple switch design. You have a nice piano black, nice silver trim, and a piece of that Harman Kardon stereo system with a nice little storage compartment. And here is your rear seats of your Maserati Ghibli. So to note, these rear seats do fold down completely. There's room for 3 passengers with 1 in the center. Very, very nice. They're trimmed in, again, that optional red leather. Looks really great. And the headrests are bezeled with the Maserati logo across it. Very, very nice. Let's jump on in. Very comfortable. I do like, so I have the front seat almost all the way back and I still have some leg room in there, so there is definitely room back here. Your passengers have nice little cool red netting to store whatever they need to store. They have their own individual AC and heat outlets. Very, very nice. You do have a nice armrest if you don't have a center person. Nice little cool armrest. Very, very nice. opens up. There's your cup holders for your rear seat passengers, and additional 12-volt chargers with a USB port, USB, and a 12-volt. So again, nice storage compartment that doubles up as an armrest. Very, very nice, and folds up in case you need to drive a third seat passenger. One thing I really love about this vehicle is the headroom. So if you look on the outside, the car is actually humped in the back here to provide for more headroom up here. So I love when I sit down in it, my head, I'm 5'7", 5'8", and I just have plenty of headroom back here, which I really do like. So again, the seats are definitely very comfortable, very rich, and again, your rear seat passengers are treated to that nice view of that nice sunroof and those nice red leather seats. So again, very, very comfortable, functional, room for 3. These are your rear seats of your Maserati Ghibli. All right, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to the Gas and Gavel video channel. Today we are going to test drive this 2016 Maserati Ghibli S Q4. And I've been looking forward to this review for quite a while. So a little background, I do have a little skin in the Maserati game. One of the first car reviews on this Gas and Gavel YouTube/video channel was my own personal 2012 Maserati Granturismomc. And I will leave a link to that video below if you guys are interested in taking a look at it. Anyways, for quite a while already, since the ownership of the Gran Turismo, I've been really looking forward to experiencing the newer versions of the Maserati, primarily found in what you see here, which is the Ghibli and its bigger brother the Quattroporte. So again, today we are experiencing the Ghibli. Hopefully in the future we can do the bigger brother in the form of the Quattroporte. But for today, let's see how this car performs in test drives. So again, this car is powered by a twin turbo 3.0 liter V6 motor. It puts out roughly 405 horsepower and 416 foot-pounds of torque. All that power is routed through an 8-speed ZF auto manual transmission. And since this is the Q4 model, all that power is routed to all 4 wheels via Maserati's all-wheel drive. That being said, I want to note that with the Q4 model, in actuality, the car itself drives as if it's a rear-wheel drive model. Why? Because Maserati's Q4 all-wheel drive system is not full-time or all-time all-wheel drive. Basically, it basically drives like a rear-wheel drive car, and whenever the front tires do need any sort of traction, the transmission essentially, or the Q4 system essentially shunts out torque to the front wheels to again compensate for any sort of lost traction. So again, it says Q4, it says all-wheel drive, but nonetheless it drives like a rear-wheel drive car, and power every so often is torque is sent to the front wheels. So this car does have a keyless entry, keyless push to start. So as long as you got the key somewhere near you, we're gonna go ahead and put that there, and let's start this car up. So I'm gonna give a little background. I'm very, very familiar with Maseratis, and just like my MC, I can tell you right now that when you drive this Maserati in a non-sport mode, essentially, again, a little background, there is a button here that you can put the car in sport mode, and basically that's essentially the Ghibli's race driving mode for this car. The exhaust opens up, the shifts get more aggressive, the suspension just feels a little more tight and firm. So again, I'm not going to do the normal driving mode, because I can tell you right now that just like in my review of my Granturismomc, and the same for this car, when you put it into when you're driving in non-sport mode, the car is actually it's I don't want to call it slow, but essentially the car drives like it's supposed to. It drives like a Toyota Camry essentially. Everything softens up. The car is actually again manageable. Again, if you look at it from an enthusiast perspective, you would call it slow, but if you look at it from a consumer perspective, essentially this car allows you to again drive around town. Maybe you need to drive your grandparents around, maybe you need to drive the kids around, and you don't need all that power and all that noise and all that firmness. So again, in a normal mode, I can tell you right now that this Ghibli, it probably drives like a Chrysler 300C or a Toyota Camry. Again, very docile, non-performance, actually pretty boring. And that's the same thing for my Gran Turismo. When you drive it in a non-sport mode, it's actually pretty boring and slow, but when you turn on that sport mode, that's when Maseratis come alive. So right now, I haven't put in sport mode, but I'm gonna do that right now. Yeah, and when you do, you just know you're in sport mode because you hear that here, and you can actually feel the rumble of the exhaust in the back just open up. So let's begin a test drive of this 2016 Maserati Ghibli S Q4. So we're gonna start with one of my favorite things about this any Maserati is that Maseratis, they sound amazing. Let's start with the V6 twin turbo. The sound of it sounds great. You could hear the spooling of the turbos. And not only that, it's accompanied by a soundtrack of that, again, that sport Maserati exhaust in the rear. And with the sport mode on, the baffles fully open up. And you can definitely hear that. I'm gonna hit the window down a little bit so you guys can actually hear the noise. Again, one thing that Maserati definitely does well is making the cars sound good. So again, the V6 motor in front, I want to use my words very carefully, okay? Because I don't want, a lot of people are going to get a little hate when you do say that the Maserati Ghibli is a Ferrari derived. I call the Maserati Ghibli and any Maserati motor pre-2018. Maserati, I would probably say it's Ferrari associated. So a little background of this car, the engine is, I guess the bottom end is casted in America, somewhere in Middle America at one of Maserati's Middle America plants. And that engine block is then sent to Modena in Italy and is assembled by Ferrari. But that engine block is, again, casted to Ferrari specs, and it is assembled by Ferrari in its factory using Ferrari parts that are closely associated with other Ferrari engines. So again, I want to use the words carefully that this car is the closest that you're going to get to a four-door that is not a Ferrari pure sangue, but again, it is a car that is Ferrari associated and does share parts in the motor and the design and the suspension. So that being said, acceleration. I would rate this car's acceleration at a 7.5 out of 10, 10 being the best. Again, this car isn't the fastest in of itself with 400 horsepower. Again, the car feels sluggish. With a turbocharged car, sometimes there is a little bit of turbo lag in the beginning. Surprisingly, this car doesn't have any feel of turbo lag, but there is a certain linear slowness from, I would probably say, 1 to maybe past 3,000 RPM, where the car, again, just feels very heavy and sluggish. The 0 to 60 time on this car is about 4.7 seconds. And again, it's fast enough, but if you're looking for, again, exotic car, pee in your pants fast, you might need to upgrade to the Trofeo model, which is again the 500 horsepower plus version of the Ghibli. This is the SQ4 with roughly about 400 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque. And again, the car is fast, but again, I think that it could be faster. But again, I rate the acceleration 7.5 out of 10. But again, the sound of it accelerating, amazing. Again, sounds great moving, that for sure. Braking in this car, I give the brakes 8 out of 10. We have 6-piston Brembo derived but Maserati branded calipers up front with 4-piston calipers in the rear, and the brakes are firm yet linear. They're not spongy at all. I like the feel of them, and it definitely gets the job done. For example, me slowing down this curve. Again, they just feel firm. I've been driving on this road for a while already, and the brakes have not faded. So again, brakes, I give it an 8 out of 10. The transmission, the 8-speed ZF automatic transmission has been proven for many years, even outside of the Ghibli model. And the shifts are quick, they are fast, and they are efficient, and they don't miss. 8 out of 10 for the transmission. Back to acceleration. So this car, again, I would probably say within its category, it's not the fastest. Its competitors are definitely faster, and I'm pretty sure if you drive this car, half the people would say that the car is pretty slow. Again, in sport mode, it's efficient, but I would probably say my granturismomc is a lot faster. But again, I can't compare the two, but I can't help it. The car just feels a little heavy and sluggish, even with 400 horsepower. So again, what this car does well is it's adequate going fast, but it goes fast looking really good and sounding really good. It looks like a Ferrari from afar, and it sounds like a Ferrari from afar. But again, like I said, it's not the fastest in itself, and it's not the fastest in its category. Suspension. The suspension, I would rate this a 7.5 out of 10. Again, this does have the Q4 system, so again, there is a little bit more confidence in these twists and curves, but there is definitely noticeable body lean and weight. This car is pretty heavy. I can definitely feel the body lean in this car, especially in a curve like this. Again, 7.5 out of 10. I would want it to be more firm. So if you're looking for a little more aggressive suspension, this car does have an optional $2,600 Skyhook suspension. That's essentially the race suspension for the Maserati brand. So again, I wish that this car did have the Skyhook suspension. I feel with that you would again just a little more aggressive tuning in the suspension, and you wouldn't have this body lean. But again, I can take the curves confidently, but again, you do feel the weight of the car, and you do notice a significant amount of body lean. Now, sound-wise, the interior, it's actually pretty quiet with the windows up. You do hear the drone of the exhaust, but the noise is actually minuscule, which is great. The seats are very comfortable. I love the design of it. Are they race seats? No. Again, I don't expect them to be. Again, the Ghibli is more of a, I would call a grand tourer and less of a sports sedan. So again, the seats feel very loungy at the bottom. There's not much support. I am kind of sliding around in them, but again, they weren't meant to, be race seats. They're comfortable enough for long trips. And again, just they're adequate enough, but again, if you're expecting race seats, that's not what they are. Again, they're more just again, I'll probably say again, performance luxury seats, but they are heated and they are 8-way adjustable, and in the red leather they look amazing. So again, they look great, but again, I wish that there was a little bit more support in the base Ghibli seats. One thing that you have to credit for is the car does feel balanced. I do want to note that despite this being a heavy car, and again, this car not being a two-door coupe, there is a 49-51 weight distribution. So again, the car does feel balanced. The steering, I do like the feel of the steering. It's not overpowered. I do feel the road feel. And when I turn the car where it needs to go, the steering goes where it needs to go. So again, the steering wheel feels adequate. And back to the sound of the exhaust again. In the days of fake exhaust noises, this car fortunately falls into the category of, again, still having a real exhaust feel. Not only does it sound great, it feels great. I can feel the vibration of that sport exhaust on acceleration. So again, Maserati does it great. The last thing I want to note about this car is the interior. There are numerous like creaks and crackles with the interior, and again, you know, straight off the bat, there are cost-cutting procedures in place in the interior. Primarily, if you look at the navigation area and the switches, they are again pulled straight from the Chrysler parts bin. So again, the interior is maybe not up to par of most previous generation Maseratis. So again, you definitely do see the Chrysler influence, and you actually do kind of hear the Chrysler influence inside the car, because I do hear, again, I'm test driving this 2016 model in 2025, and you definitely do hear some rattling from the door panels and just various parts of the interior. So again, that's just again parts of the cost cutting of what happened when again, Maserati being a part of the Stellantis family. So again, at the end of the day, this car is more of a, I'll probably say a Grand Tourer, less of a sports sedan. If you're looking for, again, exotic car performance in the Ghibli body, definitely want to spring for the Trofeo model with, again, that 518 horsepower, all-wheel drive, Ferrari-derived V8 twin turbo. Again, this car is the V6 with a twin turbo, 400 horsepower. And again, I think that this car is enough for, let's say you have a family and you are looking to just have some excitement here and there. Maybe you need the sport mode for when you need to pass the you know, kids drop-off lane, or again, you feel the need for speed and you're near a canyon road like this and you want a little more aggression in your car. Again, put it in sport mode and you'll get what you get. So again, it's a good versatile car for somebody who's looking for, again, a good all-around comfortable daily driver that can drive like a Toyota Camry but still perform like a Ferrari associated Maserati in the canyons here and there when you need it. But I can guarantee you that no matter what, whether you're in sport mode or not, when the car is standing still, you will have the best looking car in this category, hands down. I think the exterior of this car looks the best out of any car from 2016. Let's start with the pros of the 2016 Maserati Ghibli S Q4. And that starts with two of the things that Maserati does very, very well. And number one, the first thing is this Maserati, it looks great and it sounds great. Maserati knows how to design their vehicles. This Ghibli's exterior was designed straight from Maserati's design studio themselves, and I would probably say that it is the best looking, exotic looking exterior of this class of automobile in 2016 and even now in 2025. Again, the exterior of this car is just very angular, aggressive, and just has a lot of exotic Italian design flair. Everything is proportional. And again, it just looks different from anything that you're going to see on the road, even compared to its BMW / Mercedes competitors of this category. This car's exterior design, I feel, wins hands down. Again, biggest pro is the look of this vehicle. The second is the way it sounds. You guys heard that twin turbo V6 with the Sport Maserati exhaust. The Sport exhaust looks good and it sounds aggressive. Again, it sounds like a Ferrari derived motor should sound. Again, the Maserati sounds great. So again, two of the biggest pros of this vehicle is that, again, it looks great with its Italian car / Ferrari derived engine motor, and it looks great. So the two biggest pros. The first con, well, again, it overlaps with the pro, is what I will always put in every single Maserati that I review. Again, I personally own a 2012 Maserati GranturismoMc, and my biggest recommendation for any person who's looking at a Maserati is buy it used or lease it new. Never buy it new. Again, for some reason or another, don't know why, for some reason the Maserati brand has this huge depreciation curve. You spend $87,000 on this car in 2016, and by 2018 in the used market you've already lost half the value. And then fast forward another 4 years. Again, my point is that the biggest con of the Maserati brand, and even the Ghibli in general, is the depreciation of the Maserati brand. Again, you do lose a lot of money buying it new. Again, I bought my own personal Maserati GranturismoMc at the bottom of the depreciation curve, and I highly recommend that if you're looking for Ghibli, such as this Q4S, to look on the used car market for a decent example, get a good PPI on it, and buy it used. Because again, unless you're independently wealthy and you're filthy stinking rich, you're gonna lose a lot of money buying the Maserati brand brand new off the lot. So again, biggest con is, again, Maserati value. That being said, the other biggest pro of Maserati brand, and even the Ghibli also, is, again, I think that a closely related pro to that depreciation is the fact that you can get a really decent example of a Ghibli S, or any Maserati for that matter, on the used car market for a very, very, very good price. Right now in 2025, a Ghibli such as this example, the MSRP was close to $87,000 brand new, but you can get a very decent example of this with low mileage that's been well taken care of for about $15,000. Again, that's almost 1/6 of the price of the car brand new, for, again, an almost Ferrari derived 4-door sedan with, again, that Italian styling and Italian sound and that Italian performance. So again, pro and con, I would probably say, is, again, Maserati's depreciation, depending on which side of the curve you're on. Again, it could be a pro, it could be a con. But again, I highly recommend buy a Maserati in a used car market and make it a pro in your life, because again, you can get a really, really good deal on the used car market for Maseratis with very decent examples for, again, not a lot of money. So again, you can get a lot of performance for, again, even in the $10,000 price range, you could probably find a model like this on the used car market that'll serve you very, very well. And the last con has to do with more of just the interior aspects of it. Again, this car, especially the Ghibli model, was and does fall under the Stellantis brand. So again, when you look at the interior, I got to give it a ding a little bit, because the interior does have a lot of Chrysler parts bin components, especially in the navigation area and also the door switch area. So again, the center console, again, just looks cheap. The switches, they feel flimsy. There's interior creaks and groans here and there. So again, con is that there are some Chrysler influences, especially in the interior of this vehicle. So again, the interior, I'll probably say quality and fitment and style may not be up to par to the Maserati brand, but again, that there's a reason for that. Chrysler needed to cost cut with the Maserati. So again, those are the compromises that they made. So again, if you're expecting, again, this is a very luxurious, high quality interior. Although interior looks great, it does feel cheap on certain parts, especially again at the window switches and the multimedia system. So again, biggest con is again the Chrysler parts bin that was used in this car. Unfortunately, that's just what happens when you have a bigger automotive manufacturer that owns you. But again, if you're looking for an interior style, it may not be up to par. So again, con is just again the Chrysler parts bin that was used in the interior of this Ghibli. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of this 2016 Maserati Ghibli S Q4. If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe to the Gas and Gavel YouTube channel. We truly do appreciate your support, and tune in next week for more enthusiast, performance, and sports sedan / grand touring car reviews.